Right.
All right, I've got the recording going. Sandra, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to really thank everybody for showing up today and for your support. And, it's the winter time and we're all getting ready for the holidays and all the stress that might come with that, or the celebration, whatever that looks like, because I think we get a little bit of everything. And I asked Debbie if she would be willing to come and speak to my power base, my group of people that I know need to keep their health in mind. And, I just want to do a quick introduction. I feel so grateful and lucky to have Debbie here today because she's been a mentor to me for now almost 10 years, since 2012. And I want to tell a story about how I met Debbie, if that's okay with you, Debbie.
Absolutely.
I was pregnant with my youngest, and I was pregnant with my youngest and I had pneumonia. I was about 4 weeks from my delivery date. I was planning a home birth. I had pneumonia and I had just broke a rib and I was pretty miserable. The midwives were starting to wonder if I was even going to be able to deliver at home. And I'd been on several different rounds of antibiotics. Nothing was working. It was just a real miserable time for me. And the day I broke my rib, I just, when you're a mom ready to go, it's just really hard when things just are not going your way. And my midwife didn't know what to do. She kind of like put her hands up, and the last thing she said, the last resort she said was, "I want you to go see this woman, Debbie." So tell my husband, "You got to take me to see this woman, Debbie." I really didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I just wanted help and I was desperate for really anything, any solution. I had been familiar with essential oils, but really not to the extent that I am today. I had just maybe dabbled in it slightly with stuff that I'd picked up at Whole Foods or just here and there. And mostly it was aromatically. And I get to Debbie's house, just miserable, ready to have this baby and not sure how I was going to do it in the state that I was in. And I'm going to try and tell the story without crying because I have a really hard time with this, but I was super desperate. And I went into Debbie's home and she sat me down and she asked me a bit about the oils. I'm sure some of what you're going to hear from her tonight because she's really an expert at what she does. And she took my shoes off my feet, which I couldn't even touch at that point in my pregnancy. And she started putting oils on my feet, which still to this day is one of the nicest things anybody has ever done for me. And I love her for that. But I was skeptical, but I was like, you know what? Give it all to me. I bought the whole kit that day. And within 2 days, my cough was subsiding. I was getting better. And I was able to actually deliver my baby 2 weeks later, because he came 2 weeks early. 2 weeks later at home, I was pretty comfortable. I didn't give you her full introduction yet, but she's also a hypnobirthing practitioner. And I used hypnosis for my pregnancy and delivery. And I also used the oils. And I ended up delivering at home, no problems. Everything was perfect. I had this beautiful baby. In fact, I didn't even have a car seat yet because I thought he wasn't coming for another 2 weeks or 4 weeks. I figured he'd be late like his brother, but he showed up early, and that's pretty much his personality. But from that point on, I was I really haven't looked to much else except for essential oils to care for my family over the years. I mean, obviously, if somebody breaks something, that's a different story. But, most everything that she's taught me over the years has allowed me to be empowered as a mother, to care for my kids, to care for my family and friends. I love being the go-to person for the people around me who are not feeling well or need help. And the oils have really never let me down. And Debbie and I now have known each other for 10 years, and we've been working together all of this time. But we actually, when my baby was real little, we were on the road for a little while and went to several locations, and we're really able to help a lot of parents and empower them. And beyond parents, just anybody. This is for everybody. You don't even have to have kids to take care of. But like I said, they've never let me down. And it's something that's been a part of my life for a long time. So without further ado, I really want to introduce Debbie. Debbie is my friend, a mentor. She is a mother of 5 boys. She's a nurse, a doula, a hypnobirthing practitioner. Her husband, Jay, is a pharmacist. So that's just an added bonus. And she really is an expert with regards to this. And I just really want to thank her for being here and sharing this information with all of us. And hopefully you guys take something away. I know I always do. So.
Thank you, Sandra, for that beautiful introduction. I love you, friend. Sandra and I share the same mindset of empowering mothers and fathers across the world. And like she said, it doesn't have to be, you don't even have to be a parent to use these products. But if you take a look at what have we experienced over the past 2 years, and just type in the chat there some of the feelings you've had, some of the emotions you've had, some of the struggles you've had. Type in there some of the worries you've had with your health and wellness. I had another friend reach out to me 2 days ago, and she'd been struggling with COVID, and she reached out to me and said she was on her way to the Instacare for a chest x-ray. She was pretty sure she had pneumonia. And my parting words to her were, remember, I'm Western trained nurse. Stay away from the hospital. Have you felt like that in the last 2 years? Have you felt like that? Stay away from the hospital. Well, she reached out to me last night, almost 48 hours after she told me she was going to the Instacare. And I was dying. I was wondering what was going on with Becky and what happened at the Instacare. And did she have pneumonia? Had she been admitted? And I recommended some oils to her during that conversation, and she started using them. And we spoke today, and it was beautiful. She was diagnosed with pneumonia, and she did not go to the hospital. And she was using her oils. And when I talked to her today, I said, Becky, you sound amazing. And she says, I am. I feel good. And she had a little bit of a cough. It was moist. It was productive. That's a good thing when you've got pneumonia. Really, really good thing is to have that moist, productive cough to get it out. But she could talk to me with a normal voice like I'm talking with you tonight. She was not hoarse. She was not raspy. And it was remarkable. And I was so pleased that she was doing better. But I really do believe in 12 years of using these oils, I've never had to reach outside the box as I've taken care of my family. I love that. I love the empowerment that I've had at having at my fingertips what I need when I needed it. And Sandra, when you said broken bones, we've had broken bones. In fact, Sandra, I'm going to stop your video here for just a second. We've had broken bones in our home. And I did take my kiddos in to be x-rayed to make sure that was indeed what my suspicion was. I know what a broken bone typically manifests itself as. And so, yes, we've had broken bones, but we've used the oils to help the body do its healing job faster. I remember one day my son fell and he broke 4 fingers. He broke all 4 fingers right across here. And I took him in. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I took him in and x-rayed, and all of those 4 fingers were broken, and I was supposed to fly out the next day. And I put him on an oil protocol, and his fingers were splinted after we left the Instacare. And I put him on an oil protocol. And I said, Benjamin, you have to put these oils on every single day, this many times a day. This is when you need to do it. And I flew out the next morning. And before I returned home on Saturday, I flew out on Monday. And before I returned out on Saturday, he had texted me, and he had taken off the splints, had full range of motion with his fingers, and he did this on a FaceTime. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so the oils help the body do its healing job better. The oils are really user-friendly. And so let's talk for a minute about these oils. Let me actually, hang on a second. Let me just pull up my PowerPoint here, and I'm going to share my screen, and we'll just chat for a moment. Okay, let's see right there. So now when I bring this up, Sandra, I won't be able to see any of the chat. So if there's something I need to address, would you, you know
Yep,
what?
I got it.
Okay, perfect. You just speak up
Okay.
if I need to address something, okay? All right, let's see. All right, so we are in holiday season, right? Do you love the holidays? Do you not love the holidays? I love this time of year, but I also recognize that there's a lot of people suffering this holiday season, that we've had a lot of losses over the last 2 years. And we've had a dear friend die this week again. She didn't die of COVID. She was 92 years old, but 2 weeks ago, we had another friend die of COVID. We've all experienced loss. My 85-year-old mother is now on oxygen full time, day and night. And her organs are starting to shut down. And so we know that she's in her twilight years. We know that every day is a gift to us. And we're just taking advantage of every opportunity to spend with her. And so now she's in Wyoming, I'm in Utah. But my husband and I are already talking to see what we can do to get home for Christmas. And we hope to make that travel. It's not very easy traveling on I-80 to Wyoming. It can be really treacherous in the wintertime. And so we've got to watch the weather really carefully. But we were there for Thanksgiving, hope to get there for Christmas. But we've all had losses, whether we've known somebody who has died or we've lost a loved one ourselves. We've all had losses. And so sometimes the holidays can be a difficult time, but it's especially difficult when we aren't healthy, right? When we're sick and under the weather. I was just working with a Russian gal yesterday who was the apartment next to her apartment caught on fire. They had to evacuate. Their apartment was smoke filled. They had to evacuate to a hotel. They couldn't breathe. And they've been in a hotel for a week now. They've got COVID. They've been really, really sick. She ordered some oils, overnighted them to her. They're in the hotel in Phoenix area. And it was really interesting to talk with her yesterday and see she was really, really quite sick actually, and get her on the oils and set up a protocol with what she received. And today she's doing much better. She said, I've been using the oils just like you said. I've used them multiple times today. I'm about ready to do another steaming cup. And the oils that she had were not my ideal choice for steaming cup, but we used what she had and created a protocol with her. And it was remarkable. She's doing so much better today. And in 24 hours, we've turned her nausea and diarrhea around. We've turned her respiratory distress around to where she's breathing much, much better today. And so I really do love these oils. And so as we talk about happy, healthy holidays, I'm going to introduce you to some super oils. Sometimes we call these the ancient oils of the Bible. And so if you're a Bible reader, you might recognize some of these. And I'm going to talk specifically about 4 that are found in the ancient oils kit that I've got right here in front of me. And the other 2 are frankincense and myrrh. And I'm going to spend an entire evening next Tuesday night on Zoom at 7:00 p.m. Mountain Time. Next Tuesday night, I'm going to spend the entire evening talking about frankincense and all the many uses of frankincense. And if you'll plead with me, I'll actually mention myrrh. Myrrh is magnificent. And so if we think about the gifts of the Magi, frankincense, myrrh, and gold were the gifts that the Magi brought to the Christ child. And there's a good reason for that. And it's by biblical scholars indicate that the gold was not gold coins. It was most likely turmeric. And the reason for that is huge. And so we put frankincense, myrrh, and turmeric together, and we have a big bang for your buck. Okay. And so, but at any rate, next week, I'm going to talk specifically about frankincense for an entire hour. So I'd love to have you join me there. So, okay, let's go on here. If you could change one.
Debbie, just a quick question. You said frankincense, myrrh, and turmeric?
Turmeric was
okay.
Bible scholars to be the gold. Okay. Yeah. And if you've ever bought turmeric powder in the store, it's that bright yellow, orange, gold, right color. And doTERRA has a phenomenal product, the turmeric dual caps, that is much better than the root powder because it combines the essential oil with the root powder so that you have a 17 times increase in the absorption because the essential oil crosses cell membranes and the root powder does not. So most of it goes in the toilet. We know that it's a fabulous anti-inflammatory oil, or a fabulous anti-inflammatory as far as the turmeric root powder with their curcuminoids, but adding the essential oil to it, getting the whole plant material, you're going to increase that absorption rate and that inflammatory benefit by at least 17 times. This is something I use every single day. That's why I've got it right here at my desk. So at any rate, if you could change one thing about your health, whether it be mind, body, or mood, type in the chat what that would be. If you could change one thing, what are you struggling with? Whether it be mind, body, or mood, what are you struggling with? What's most important for you to change? Now, I'm gonna guarantee you that if you will participate tonight and share and get in there and talk and share your comments, and then Sandra, if you would relate those to me, that would be really helpful. And then I want to know that there's going to be gifts given, all right? So just get in there and start chatting.
It looks like we've got somebody would like some mind, all 3, Rick says, that
mind,
you just mentioned.
body, mood, very good. Now, if you can be a little bit specific, Rick, go ahead and be a little bit more specific. If you'll be a little bit vulnerable, that'd be awesome. But okay, so I want you to be aware of that. Okay, now we're going to give a giveaway. So Sandra, write down Rick's name. We're going to give him something because he responded. I want him to be a little more specific. And then when you got that, we're gonna do a giveaway.
Well, and Steve says mind on here.
Very good. You know what? And when you think about mind, all right, we've had a tremendous. In fact, when I spoke to Becky today, though she was doing really much better physically, she says, Debbie, I've been so depressed. I said, Becky, how long have you been shut into your home? She said, 12 days. And with the experience we've had over these last 2 years, we are social beings. And I don't think there's a person out there that is not struggling with mood or emotional issues. If you've never experienced a panic attack in your life over these last 2 years, you may have. I have. And I never struggled with panic before, but I too have experienced a panic attack, and it's not pleasant. And so all of us are struggling with mind and mood and emotion, and there's a lot going on. Okay. And so we have to take into account what can we do? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about mind and mood and body tonight. And so I hope, what else is in the
Debbie, I do have one more. Stephanie says a sense of inflammation after COVID. Any insights on that?
Absolutely. And this is going to be one of your go-to, Stephanie, this turmeric dual cap. Okay. And we'll add some more stuff to it. And we're going to talk about pain and inflammation tonight. So hang on to that thought. I hope in fact, I'm going to come back. Sandra reminded me to come back to Stephanie after we talk about pain and inflammation and see if she doesn't have some really great suggestions for those. Okay. We've got answers for you. We've got some solutions for you. Okay. Honestly, the thing that I've loved most about doTERRA and why I have literally traveled the world sharing and educating on essential oils. Now with the last 2 years, I've done it all by my home through Zoom. Thank goodness for technology, right? But I really love being face to face with people. And so as I've traveled the world, I honestly, there's not a higher quality of essential oil than what doTERRA has to offer. I promise you the quality. I was using essential oils for 2 decades before I found doTERRA. And because it wasn't therapeutically consistent, I kept searching for more information. And in April of 2010, I was presenting at a perinatal nursing conference. My husband was there to support me. And he came to and found me and said, come here, you're going to want to see this. And he took me to the vendor tables. I wasn't touring the vendor tables at the moment. I was preparing for my presentation. And so he took me to the vendor tables, and lo and behold, there was a doTERRA table there with Peggy Smith. And I knew immediately that a prayer had been answered, that I had found what I'd been searching for. I had used multiple brands of essential oils. As I've traveled the world, I've been exposed to dozens and dozens more brands. And I have never yet found anything that met doTERRA's purity and potency and therapeutic consistency. And now the scientific data is coming in, and there's really no one that can touch us. And so when people say, give us even the compliment of that they might have some essential oils similar to doTERRA or like doTERRA's, let me just share with you that doTERRA sources their oils all over the world. They have created cooperatives with the farmers. We do not grow our own crops and harvest our own oils. We actually partner with people worldwide that have been doing this for generations. And then we let them know what our expectations are. And there is nobody. We have sole proprietorship and sole buying purchase power with all of our farmers. And so there is nobody that can touch what doTERRA has got here. And so that's a whole nother story in and of itself, is the difference about doTERRA. But doTERRA is a legacy company, and you would be wise to partner with them in your wellness. And so one thing that I want, in lieu of what's going on for these past 2 years, for instance, and for our family the past 12 years, what I want is that confidence that I have what I need at my fingertips and that I know how to use it. And so with a good box of oils, essential oils, and a good resource book, I promise you can do anything with these oils, because I have for the last 12 years. And I've loved that. And self-reliance is one of my core values. And I desire more than anything to help others have that confidence and feel comfortable reaching for natural solutions first, so that they can, first of all, manage their wellness preventatively. And then if something comes up, such as what we've experienced, they have the tools they need in order to manage that and whatever else is coming. And there's been a lot of predictions of what's coming. And I promise we're not done. with what we've experienced over these last 2 years, and you would be wise to gather in your arsenal these natural solutions. And so I hope to help you do that tonight. Okay. So as we talk about essential oils, and this is going to be the fastest introduction to essential oils ever. So I'm going to talk rapidly. And the good news is that most of you have at least tinkered a little bit with essential oils. And you probably know that there's 3 main ways we use them. We use them aromatically, which means we breathe them in, we smell them, we run them in the diffuser. We might put a drop on our hand, cup our hands around our mouth and nose and breathe that in, but we breathe them in. That's what aromatic use means. And then we use them secondly, topically, and that means we rub them on our skin. And typically with essential oils, because they are aromatic compounds, they are what gives the plant its aroma. And so we brush by a plant and we smell it, or we touch our fingers on the fir leaves and we smell it, or we smell a rose. And so they are aromatic compounds. And so when we put them on our skin, it's wise to add a carrier oil to dilute them. It's not really, dilution is not ever really a good word, but it's the best we have in the English language. But if we use a carrier oil, we weigh them down so they can't just flash in the air. Okay. So being as they're aromatic compounds, when we apply them topically to our skin, I do recommend a carrier oil to weigh them down so they go into the body instead of just flashing in the air. Okay, so that's the second way we use them. And then the third way we use them is internally. Now, only with doTERRA's can you use them internally. And the reason you know, if you read the label on the bottle, there will be a supplement facts on the label if they are safe for internal ingestion. Okay, and so you do need to be careful. Now, essential oils are potent. They are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. That's why they come in little bottles. Okay. And we've got 2 sizes. We've got the 5 ml bottle, which is a teaspoon, or a 15 ml bottle, which is a tablespoon. They come in little bottles because they're potent. We don't use a lot. We need to use a little bit, just drops. And more is not better with essential oils. So small amounts frequently is really a rule of thumb. Okay. So don't think that you can use the essential oils 1 time a day and have this extended release experience, because essential oils are not extended release. However, when we do add the carrier oil and we take them internally with a carrier oil, we can extend how long they last a little bit, but we're talking maybe 2 to 3 hours. Okay. So they are not extended release. And so you want small amounts frequently. All right. So 3 ways to use them: aromatically, topically, internally. I'm going to introduce a 4th way, and that's in our homes. All right. We have a whole home line to help you move away from toxic cleaning products and toxic everything to being a clean home. And so we're going to add that 4th way in our homes. Sandra, it looks like there's some comments in the chat.
Yeah, actually, we have somebody who's looking to sleep better, Carrie. And then Rick took you on the being vulnerable part, and he said that depression, procrastination, self-doubt, weight, energy, and quick to anger, inflammation are all things that he would like to work on.
Oh, Rick, thank you for being vulnerable. Yes, we have solutions for you. And you're going to I want you to just take a deep breath in and breathe a sigh of relief. Just take a deep breath in, because honestly, I've never found anything like this. And Sandra mentioned that my husband is a pharmacist. And my personal journey is that Western medicine, though I was trained in it, Western medicine did not have the solutions for my body, and especially in the pharmaceutical department and even over the counter. I could not use them because I always had the side effects. And my husband learned really quickly in our marriage, even though I put him through pharmacy school after marriage, he learned really quickly that that was not a tool that I could personally use. And so I've always had to reach outside the box with herbs, homeopathy, and essential oils. And then I kept searching for something that was therapeutically consistent. I found herbs to be really effective over the long term, but they were not immediately effective all the time. In fact, seldom were my herbal products immediately effective. And I filled my own capsules for many years. I used homeopathics. They were a little bit faster acting than herbs, and I really liked that. But they had a sweet taste to them, and my kids ate too many of them, and then they were not effective when we needed them to be effective. And then when I started using essential oils, I just wanted that therapeutic consistency, and I have found that in doTERRA. And so for 12 years, we have not used any over-the-counter remedies or pharmaceuticals or prescription medications. That's a big deal for a family of 7. When Peggy taught that very first class in my home, she recommended that we box up our medicine cabinet. I did that. I really did. I didn't want to use them. I didn't like to use them. They didn't work for my body. I was always a little bit uncomfortable using them with my children. And I did that. I boxed it up. I put it on a high shelf where I could not reach it without getting on a step stool or a small ladder. And I made it so it was difficult so that when I needed help, I would just pull out my oils and my resource book and look up what I was trying to work on and find solutions out of what I had on hand and use them. And in minutes, we had a result. And I loved that. And so my husband periodically would go through that box and weed out the outdated over-the-counter and prescription medications. Actually, the prescriptions got thrown away real fast. And then he weeded out the outdated medications. And within months, we were done with that box. It was completely gone. And we've never reached for that again. And so I love having what I need. It's just really fulfilled my core value of self-reliance. And so we've got solutions for you. I promise you we do. Okay, so we've answered that question. All right. So, all right. You know what, Carrie, thank you for bringing up sleep, because the reality is that we cannot heal anything, whether it be mind, body, or mood. We cannot heal anything if we don't get good quality sleep. Now, just type in the chat. Those of you who struggle with sleep, just type in the chat, okay? I wish I could see you just raise your hand, but just type in the chat if you could use help with sleep, better sleep, sleeping longer, more quality sleep, being able to fall asleep sooner, being able to shut off the brain chatter. Just type in that chat if you struggle with sleep. And probably most everybody on here tonight has at some time or another or now struggled with getting good quality sleep. And I have struggled with that my entire life. I go through periods of insomnia, and then I move out of it. And the oils have helped me move out of that quicker. I still go through periods of insomnia, but let me tell you a little bit about that, okay? When I am doing birth work and I miss a night or two of sleep attending to a birth client as a doula, I set myself up for that period of insomnia. And so then I'm grateful that now I have a sleep bomb that I can reach for and get back into that sleep cycle. And so it's been my career for almost 40 years of supporting women through childbirth that has kind of set me up for that period of insomnia that kind of fluctuates depending on what I'm doing in my life. And so I'm grateful now that I have something I can reach for quickly and get right back in my sleep cycle. In fact, recently I was burning the midnight oils because I lost my administrative assistant, and I was burning the midnight oils night after night after night for a week, threw myself in that insomniac period, used my sleep bombs to go to sleep at night every night. And the other morning, I totally missed everybody getting up, getting ready for school, getting ready for work, and leaving. And I woke up at 7:51 in a little bit of a panic. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never slept this long. And thank goodness that my body was finally into that deep sleep cycle again. And I didn't hear anything as they got ready to go. And usually I give all my boys and my husband hugs and kisses before they leave. And I had to text them all that morning and say, I'm so sorry I missed you. I missed my hugs. And I love you. Have a good day. And that's what I had to do that day because I totally missed everybody. And it was really unusual. So I have a sleep bond for you. And these are part of it. All right. When I first got started with essential oils, lavender was my go-to for anything that I needed calming for. Okay. And it helped my children and my husband go right to sleep. But I had still a lot of mind chatter, and it did not help me go to sleep. But the Serenity blend did. And I just found that maybe I was just a little more complicated. I didn't need a single oil. I needed a blend oil. I'm not sure, but that was my experience. So Serenity really helped me sleep better. And I found even better sleep by mixing Serenity and Balance together. That was my go-to for a long, long time. And then I got into one of those insomniac periods, and then I added cedarwood. And cedarwood was a fabulous help. And then I added vetiver, and vetiver was a fabulous help. And then doTERRA came out with Serenity. They actually updated the Serenity blend, and they added cedarwood and vetiver to it and made it even better. And that was awesome. And then they came out later on with these Serenity Soft Gels. And the Serenity Soft Gels is my go-to. And I typically take 2 of those Serenity Soft Gels at bedtime to go to sleep. And when I need to throw myself out of that insomniac period, I reach for, do I have it down here? I have 2. I reach for Serenity Soft Gels, Adaptive Soft Gel, Adaptive Capsules, and Copaiba Soft Gels. And so they're up in my room. I don't have them right here beside me, but I reach for 3 things now as my sleep balm: Copaiba Soft Gels, Adaptive Capsules, and Serenity Soft Gels, one of each of those before I crawl in bed. And it is out. And I don't have to worry about waking up feeling groggy or drowsy. Though I slept in that morning, and I'm usually up by 6 a.m., though I slept in two nights ago or whatever that day was, though I slept in, I did not wake up feeling groggy at all. I woke up feeling kind of like, oh my gosh, I really slept this long. That's freaking amazing, but I missed everybody. Okay. And so I love this. I love not having to worry about side effects. I get instead side benefits from using the oils, and we'll talk more about that. Okay. I don't have to worry about getting addicted. There was a time when I did use a sleeping pill, and it was a common one. It started with an A. I don't remember the name of it now, but it was a fairly common one, but oh my gosh, it was awful. The side effects were really awful for me, and I couldn't use it. I think I used it for a week, and I was like, no way, I'm not using this. But I know that a lot of people get addicted to sleeping solutions, and you don't have to worry about that with the essential oils. I love that effect. I know several people who have been taking melatonin for a long time, and one of my friend's husbands has been taking it for 25 years, and he doesn't know how to sleep without taking melatonin. And I love that I can use something natural that I don't have side effects from, but I do use it pretty much every single night. Okay. All right. So let's talk about energy and focus. Rick mentioned energy, right? And you know what? There's a lot of stimulants out there, I'm going to call it, that we use to have more energy. So type in the chat your go-to. When you need energy, type in the chat your go-to. And then Sandra, read those to me.
Well, I'll start with mine,
Okay. What's your
coffee a lot.
Okay.
If it's not, I use the Mito 2 Max as well, but I think most all of us probably, or some of us, are used to coffee as a stimulant to keep us going. And
okay. What else? What else do you use? What else do you reach for when you need energy, when you're just dragging?
chai tea is coffee. Carrie says coffee and chai tea.
Okay. Anything else?
Coffee in the morning, wheatgrass, liquid protein.
Love that. Liquid protein, wheatgrass, right? That really does boost your energy. Absolutely. Keep going. And then top in there. Okay, so what do you have any concerns drinking coffee or drinking stimulant products? What are your concerns as you do that?
Rick doesn't have any concerns, but I'll share one of mine. I thought I was having a heart attack after drinking too much coffee one time.
So with that stimulant effect, here's some things we see with caffeinated beverages or drinks, okay? We do see constriction of the blood vessels. Now, in lieu of what we've experienced over the past 2 years, is there any concern for constriction of the blood vessels? With that constriction of the blood vessels, we also see temperature drops. Don't know if there's a concern about that much, but we do see temperature can drop for up to a degree and a half. So instead of being 98.6, we typically see it in the 90s or the low 97s with your temperature. Okay. It's also a diuretic, but in order to be a diuretic, it pulls fluid from your tissues, which actually dehydrates you. Another thing it does is make your body acidic, which means you're a little more prone to that cancer, that big C. I have a naturopathic doctor out in Tennessee that she says, if you want me to work with you, get off your coffee. And she won't work with anybody that's drinking coffee. Now, I don't want to drag you down with drinking coffee or have you jump off this call because I just said that. But there are some concerns for that. I have a son who's drinking coffee and he's got 10 cavities in his mouth. It's more acidic. So it breaks down that enamel a little bit. And so just be aware that usually with those caffeinated beverages, there are some concerns. Sandra experienced that rapid heart rate, and we do see that with caffeinated beverages. I personally cannot drink caffeine because I already have heart arrhythmias, and it makes that so much worse. So I have to avoid caffeine. But this is my go-to. What you see on this slide, I love peppermint oil is a natural wake me up. Okay. I love that. And so when I'm traveling, I always have my water bottle, and one of my water bottles, I usually have two water bottles when I'm traveling. One has peppermint in it and one has citrus. Now you can mix them both together, but I love my citrus oils. But peppermint, when I need that no dose, so to speak, I'm grabbing my water bottle with peppermint. Okay. But this Mito 2 Max is something that I've really fallen in love with, and I've used it since it came out. It's a natural energy and stamina support. And the Mito stands for mitochondria in the cells. The oxygen, the O2 in the center stands for oxygen. And what it does is increase the number and efficiency of the mitochondria in your cells so that your cell has more energy. All right. So it works on a cellular basis. And what I found for me during these last 2 years is that with this heightened state of alertness that we've been sitting in, I've suffered from adrenal fatigue. And when the adrenal fatigue goes out, we end up with thyroid issues. And I was recently diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and we end up with hormone imbalance. And I was through menopause. I'm 57 years old. I was through menopause, and lo and behold, I was back having incredible hot flashes. And when I started bumping up my Mito 2 Max consumption, not only did it increase my energy, but it actually served my adrenal glands and helped me with that adrenal fatigue. I worked with a naturopathic doctor that says, Debbie, take 9 of those a day, 3 in the morning, 3 at noon, and 3 before bed. And I was like, but Laura, do I really want to take them before bed? Is that going to keep me awake? And she said, not if you have adrenal fatigue. And I recognized when I took 3 before bed, it did not keep me awake. And I did for sure have adrenal fatigue. And so now we're still, on the other hand, we're turning around my Hashimoto's with oils. I was just retested last week. I'm still waiting. I see the doctor tomorrow. And I'm also seeing the doctor for my heart, EKG, to see what's going on with my heart. And interesting thing with my heart, every time I put a mask on, I have heart arrhythmias. And so they're going to put a mask on me tomorrow, see what my heart does, and see if we can figure out what's going on there. But obviously we know that when we put a mask on our face, it decreases our oxygen intake. And for those of us who are really susceptible to that, it makes a huge difference. And so I really don't appreciate masks at all. So Mito 2 Max is my go-to. We have peppermint beadlets. We also have peppermint soft gels, which is really great for the digestive system. So peppermint is one of those oils that is really great for respiratory support. It's great for digestive support. It's a driver. It drives the other oils in deeper. And we use that a lot when we're making our own blends, blending oils together for specific concerns. So this is a great thing. And then frankincense is a go-to. It is the king of the oils. It works for everything and anything. When in doubt, use frankincense, and we'll talk about that next week for a full hour. Okay. All right. So let's talk
Hey,
about.
Debbie, if I could just add something too,
Yeah, go ahead.
one thing that I do with my kids on the way to school is I always give them a beadlet, a peppermint beadlet. And it just kind of gives them a little bit of pick me up when they're on their way to school. And, and they don't argue with me. They don't mind it. I mean, and it is strong,
Yep.
but that it's something that has become part of our daily habits. And they really do love that peppermint beadlet.
Those peppermint beadlets are really tiny. They're okay for a toddler, believe it or not. They're really tiny. They're not going to choke on them. You just put them in the back of their throat and they'll swallow them. They're really, really tiny. And they have about 1/3 of a drop. And so they're really convenient. Becky, in fact, today, the one that I was talking to that has had a COVID pneumonia, she said she was having great results using the peppermint beadlet. Anytime she felt like she couldn't get enough air in, she would take one of those beadlets and chomp it between her teeth. And she said it opened me right up. And so that is something that she can, have in her pocket at all times. So yeah, that's really helpful. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to some super oils. We have common myrtle, hyssop, galbanum, and cistus just sold out for an individual purchase, but we can purchase it in the kit. But we're going to talk about that with regards to the mind. Common myrtle uplifts, increasing our focus, helps us access our inner thoughts, helps us think more clearly. The galbanum is very stimulating. It aids in cognitive development. It's really great for the nervous system. The hyssop is fantastic for concentration. It's great when you're feeling mentally fatigued. It helps sharpen our awareness. So we're attentive, we're aware of what's going on around us, and very invigorating. And so these ancient oils that we're going to talk about tonight are really magnificent. And you can purchase them in a kit like this, the Ancient Oils Kit. This is actually a better deal than purchasing them individually, but there are some still, since this is sold out for individual sales, but these other three are available for individual sales. So we talk about them tonight. If you feel like you could benefit, I want you to let me know. Okay, so we can help you get those before they're sold out. Okay. I'm just going to pull those out. And so now I have been using these ancient oils since last December. They came out with the Ancient Oil Kit last December for Christmas time. And our family has gone through 3 of these kits in the last year to keep us well. And I've really become friends with them. And I actually really love them now. And we've had some really good experiences just recently with my husband and my 17-year-old son using these oils that I'll share. Okay, so now do a body scan from head to toe. And I want you to think about, okay, physically, what's bothering me most? What's bothering me most in my physical well-being? And type that in the chat. Okay, Sandra, let me know if anything goes up there, okay?
I will do.
All right. When we talk about body, very often appearance comes up. And we want our skin to look better, or we want to look prettier, or whatever it is. Very often, maybe we are carrying extra weight, as Rick was sharing. Our appearance is really important, right? And I'll be honest with you that we all gained weight during COVID. Sitting at home, not going out, not being as active as we were. We did go for walks, but we didn't go to the gym, of course, and we didn't do a lot of hiking and like we normally were used to. And so we did find that we all gained weight. And I actually started a diet about 6 months ago and have lost 20 pounds. And I feel so much better getting that weight off. And definitely it's helped my hemoglobin A1C, my blood glucose levels, helped my cholesterol levels. And so that's been a really helpful thing. But appearance comes up. And 2 things that I love right off the bat for appearance, for skin concerns, is tea tree oil and doTERRA's Correct X. And Correct X is our replacement for any kind of antibacterial ointment. And it is magnificent. It's all natural. It's got oils in it of helichrysum, frankincense, lavender, tea tree, and cedarwood. And it's a really big bang for your buck for anything skin. And so that's on the outside of your body. Okay. Tea tree can be used on the inside of your body, but Correct X is for the outside of your body. And it's really great for anything from scars, from cuts and abrasions and skinned knees to acne, to an open wound. My husband, in fact, here's a funny story. When Correct X came out, I bought 3 of them and they disappeared. And I was like, what in the heck? Where'd the Correct X go? And I bought 3 more and they disappeared. And I was like, finally to my family, what in the heck? Who's got the Correct X? And now they're small tubes, but I was like, what in the heck is happening with the Correct X? And my sweet husband had taken him to the pharmacy and was giving them out like candy because he had patients coming to him that had skin issues, and he would hand them a Correct X and say, use this, try this. And I was like, fine, but just tell me that you're doing that. And so at any rate, that was our go-to. And he had so many people that came in with big holes in their faces or their arms or where they had had cancerous lesions removed. And he was giving them his Correct X, and they'd come back a few days later with this hole completely filled in with natural looking skin. And it was just freaking amazing. And I was like, well, just tell me that you're taking the Correct X. But what can we do with the super oils? So I wanted to take a look at this, okay? Common myrtle contracts and tightens the skin. Do you have any loose skin that you need tightened up? It diminishes wrinkles. Cistus reduces fine lines and wrinkles, helps with blemishes. We're using that on my 17-year-old right now. He's got cystic acne, and we've been using the oils on him. And when he's consistent, he looks so much better. And when he forgets and lags off, or his diet goes to pot and he's a sugarholic, so when that happens, his acne acts up again. And so we've been working with this. And also another thing with my son is his relationships. When he's in toxic relationships, his acne is terrible. And so this week we had a chat on Sunday. He came into my office and we talked for an hour and a half. And I actually talked about his relationships a little bit. That came up in our discussion. And yesterday he told me that he cut off a relationship with a girl that was really toxic. And I was really proud of him and for doing that. And so when we're in toxic relationships, we're going to see that in the skin. So Cistus reduces that acne and scars and marks. And then the galbanum removes toxins from the skin, helps to regulate the hormones, reduces acne, rejuvenates aging, sagging, wrinkled skin. And ladies, if you have any stretch marks, reach for galbanum. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so we have some great benefits of these ancient oils for appearance. And now, okay, somebody brought up discomfort, right? Stephanie. And so doTERRA has a lot of help, a lot. This is a small smidgen of what we have for discomfort and pain relief. All right. And so let's talk about what's on the screen here, and then I'll talk about a couple others. But the Deep Blue products is really well known. Now, my husband working in a pharmacy, he has most every single day people coming in asking him, where can I find the Deep Blue rub? And he chuckles and says, you need to find a doTERRA wellness advocate. And sadly, it's a conflict of interest. So sadly, he can't say, here, call my wife. He can't give my business card. But at any rate, Deep Blue is a really well-known product, I would venture to say, across this nation, and getting much more well-known outside of the US. And it's a go-to. As I was talking to Becky, she says she had a daughter that was going to give, that wanted to do, two daughters that wanted a Deep Blue rub, and a daughter's friend who wanted a Deep Blue rub, and she was going to gift her one for Christmas. And I said, Becky, Deep Blue rub is fantastic for respiratory support. Rub that on your chest too. Layer the oils, apply the oils to your chest, and then layer Deep Blue on top of it, and it'll drive those oils in deeper. And you'll get some really great results with that Deep Blue rub. And so Deep Blue is for anything pain. If it hurts, reach for your Deep Blue. Well, if you can't breathe, or you've got this deep pneumonia cough, that hurts too, right? And so you can reach for the Deep Blue. And we've got lots of preparations. We've got the oil, we've got the Deep Blue rub. We now have a Deep Blue stick that has Deep Blue oil and copaiba that you also see on the screen. We have the Deep Blue polyphenol complex that is all plant-based polyphenols with frankincense resin to bring down that inflammation. So that's a really helpful line of products, is the Deep Blue line, okay? Past tense is one of my favorite go-tos for tension. So when we have tension buildup, we have pain, right? And often tension is behind the fear response, the fear, tension, pain response. And past tense is a really great go-to to halt that process, that cycle, okay? Wintergreen is one of my favorite reaches for broken bones. So like you mentioned, broken bones, Sandra, wintergreen. Birch is my most favorite, but it's not readily available. And wintergreen's my backup. Okay. And so wintergreen is a great one for bone pain, muscle pain, joint pain. Copaiba is one of these incredible oils that is good for every body system. So maybe some of you are familiar with CBD, and copaiba, the B in the CBD is beta caryophyllene, and copaiba is 40 to 60% beta caryophyllene, which is really potent compared to most of your CBD oil products. Most of them average about 10 to 12, 13% beta caryophyllene, and copaiba is 40 to 60%. So I often am asked, why doesn't doTERRA carry CBD? Well, we don't need to. We have copaiba. It's sourced from the Brazilian Amazon, from the Copaifera trees in the Brazilian Amazon, and it works off of every body system because every body system has CB2 receptors, and the copaiba works off of that. So whatever you need relief for, copaiba is your go-to. So I add it to my pain roller bottles. I add it, it's part of my daily routine for my heart arrhythmias. I take the copaiba soft gels, which are pre-filled soft gels that's not shown on your screen. And I take that morning and night. It helps with my sleep, it helps with my heart, it helps with immune support, it helps with respiratory support, it helps with digestive support. It's fantastic. I have my son, I made him a roller bottle with copaiba for his skin last night. Put some cissus in it. That's fantastic for the skin as well. So the copaiba acts for every body system, but it is fantastic for pain. It calms the nervous system and calms that pain response, and it is fantastic. So
Debbie, I had held on to copaiba for a long time and didn't use it. And one time I happened to take it with me, thank goodness, because I was doing a photo shoot, and it was 23 degrees out. And so no matter what, I mean, we could not get warm enough, and but we had to get the shoot done. And when the shoot was over, I could not regulate my nervous system. It was just a mess. I was a mess. I couldn't get warm. I couldn't, I was shaking all day. And I thought, I'm going to try this, because I knew that it was good for the nervous system. And sure enough, it was the only thing that worked after being in that cold for that long. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was getting hypothermia, but it was so cold, but it was amazing. And it's one of my go-tos every night now.
Yeah, I really love Copaiba. I've used it for everything. And here's the funny part, was I actually had several bottles of Copaiba, but after convention, when they brought that out a few years ago, I was giving it out for people to try to see if it worked for their specific pain concerns. I had a bottle on my island for my son, who had left our home at an early age, but he was suffering from a wrestling injury. And I knew that, and I wanted him to experience the benefits of Copaiba. And so I hadn't even used it myself. And one of my leaders were teaching a class on Copaiba, and she asked me outright, Debbie, what have you experienced with Copaiba? And I was embarrassed that I had no stories at that time. And so I started taking it internally. And that's when I recognized that it helped with my heart arrhythmias. I was taking it for immune support, but I got the side benefit of it helping with my heart arrhythmias, and it's been my go-to ever since. And so, but Cistus is really great for pain too. Cistus is fantastic as an anti-inflammatory for sore muscles, joint pain. And another oil that's not on this screen is lemongrass. Lemongrass is way underused. It's very readily available. We get it from India, and it's fantastic for muscle and joint issues. It also helps build connective tissue. So any of your joint, your cartilage, your ligaments, your tendons, that's all connective tissue. So if we have disc degeneration in our back, if we have plantar fasciitis in our foot, lemongrass is a really great reach. And I would add, of course, these other products with it and do some mixing and matching until you find your good blend. One thing I will say, when it comes to using the oils, what works on my body may be a little bit different than what works on your body. The oils always work. And if that's not been your experience, then we need to mix it up. We need to go back to the resource books, look up some other options that we might try, or add to what we're already doing until we get the result. Years ago, I was doing a ropes course, and I jumped from a really tall ladder tree, and my arm got caught in the belay rope, and I broke my shoulder. And so fast forward another 10 or 15 years after that, I was assisting at a birth, and the midwife called for tug of war pushing. Now, tug of war pushing is just like you can imagine. The laboring mother was pulling on one end, I was pulling on the other end, and I re-injured the shoulder. Now, I've never been a fan of, thank you, sweetheart. I've never been a fan of tug of war pushing. And the reason behind it in labor is to increase the intra-abdominal pressure so mom's able to push this baby out. And it did not work. But if it doesn't work after 10 minutes, I'm all done with it. And we did that for about 2.5 hours. And so I re-injured the shoulder, and I was using the deep blue oil. And my husband comes home from work. This was the next day. He came home from work late at night, and I was complaining to my husband pharmacist that the deep blue oil was not working at all for my injured shoulder again. And he said to me, why don't you look up in your book under bursitis? And so I looked up under bursitis, and that led me to what has become one of my favorite pain remedies, cypress, basil, and marjoram. That combination, along with frankincense, has been my go-to and deep blue for many years. And so basil, cypress, and frankincense. So I put a couple of drops of each of those in the palm of my hand with some fractionated coconut oil, rubbed that on my shoulder, and lo and behold, in about 3 minutes, that pain was gone. And I found that really interesting, that my pharmacist husband would say to me, look up in your resource book under bursitis. He didn't say, well, let me bring home a narcotic, right? He didn't say that to me because he knew, first of all, that I'm allergic to most every narcotic. But secondly, he gave me that suggestion, and it worked really well. And so I so appreciated that combination. So there's some more: basil, marjoram. Now, if it sounds like a spice or an herb that you would use in your kitchen, clove, cinnamon, lemongrass, cassia. If it sounds like a spice or an herb that you would use in your kitchen, oregano, those are all anti-inflammatory in nature. And so you could use that. And now oregano is a hot oil, clove's a hot oil, cinnamon's a hot oil. And so mix it with some fractionated coconut oil, dilute it, with some fractionated coconut oil or another vegetable oil before you apply it topically, and you're going to get some really great results. Okay. So hopefully that helped with your pain. Did that help, Stephanie? Type in the chat there if that helped. Okay, so now we've all experienced respiratory issues over these past couple of years, right? Or we've certainly heard about them, whether we've experienced them or not. Probably most all of us have experienced that. And the oils, the oil that I go to most often, my first reach is always Breathe oil. Okay, and that's our respiratory blend. And so that's a really fantastic oil for respiratory support. And it's got several oils in it. But some things I add to that are lime oil to help break up old mucus, and cardamom, which is also a spice found in allspice. We use it in our oatmeal. It's a really great one for respiratory and gut support. And most often, let me just say this, make a note of this. When there's a respiratory issue, most of the time there's always a gut issue and vice versa. Okay, as I talked with this Russian woman yesterday, she was sick with COVID, but she was running to the toilet constantly and to the bathroom. She was nauseated all the time, felt like she was just going to throw up, and she had diarrhea, and she had a terrible, terrible cough. All right. And so most of the time when there's respiratory, there's also gut and vice versa. So what we use for respiratory might also help with gut. What we use for gut might also help with respiratory. So keep that in the back of your mind, okay, as we talk about respiratory for a moment. But as we've been going through these last 2 years, when Breathe didn't work for somebody, I would add lime and cardamom if they had it. If that wasn't enough, then I was reaching for these ancient oils for the last year since we've had them available. They are magnificent. And I have put together a protocol for those people that have had the COVID issue to help them move through that respiratory distress, okay, using these oils. And so I highly, highly recommend that you get these in your arsenal, okay? Hyssop and cistus are my go-tos, but all 4 of those oils are fantastic for respiratory support. And so let me just read a couple things from my note. Hyssop is a really great antispasmodic. And so when you're having that horrible cough that you can't get control of, and you're not getting oxygen in, asthmatics, this would be a really great oil for asthmatics, okay? It really helps relieve those spasms and helps soothe that deep, deep cough that sometimes can be uncontrollable, okay? Hyssop is also a great expectorant. Now, none of these oils are labeled for internal use, but I'm going to tell you that they can be used internally. And I have used them internally. And hyssop, if you do some research on hyssop, very often it's used in a tea, just a drop of hyssop in your tea. Hyssop comes in a 2.5 milliliter bottle with a childhood protective cap on it. And there are some forms of hyssop that are, there's a certain chemical constituent that I don't remember the name of right now that cannot be used internally, but doTERRA's hyssop does not have that in it. And I have used this as an internal use in tea for respiratory support, and it's magnificent. Galbanum is a great decongestant. And so I want you to think about what you use for decongestants. And most of the time when we do a decongestant, we actually make matters worse. But galbanum, you don't have to worry about making matters worse. There's side benefits of it really helping not only decongest and with that postnasal drip, but also helps with that cough, all right? And helps get rid of that cough. Cistus rids the body of the extra mucus. And so lime oil helps get rid of old mucus. Lemon oil helps get rid of fresh mucus. And the cistus oil gets rid of both, okay? And so it rids the body of that mucus. And so when we've got pneumonia going on, what's going on, okay? A lot of the times, not always, but a lot of the times you've got that mucus formation in your body. And when you've got the flu or colds, you've got that mucus production, and that cistus is going to be really helpful for that, for colds, coughs, flus, etc. Okay, and a whole lot more. Common myrtle is an expectorant. Make a tea with common myrtle. Get rid of that mucus crap that's causing all your problems. Okay, very often people are waking up with sore throats and earaches and bronchitis-like symptoms, and they go to bed feeling not so great, but not so bad. And they wake up feeling worse. And it's that postnasal drip of that mucus dripping down in the throat and causing that infectious cascade. Okay. And so that's really going to be a great help. So the common myrtle helps clear phlegm and congestion. All right. So a little drop of that in your tea would be really helpful. Okay. All right. Now, when we're talking immune support, doTERRA is fantastic for immune support, and you can do a lot of research on guard and on guard products. And doTERRA has a slew of on guard products because it's found to be really helpful for any kind of bacteria or virus or fungus. Okay, and so on guard is a combination of cinnamon oil, wild orange, clove, rosemary, and eucalyptus, and it has been found to be effective. In fact, when they did the scientific studies, they had to keep everything with oregano in it and everything with On Guard in it in a separate refrigerator because either or both killed everything that was growing in the refrigerator. So they could not put it next to other petri dishes because it would take out everything that they were trying to culture and figure out what was good for that specific bacteria or virus. And so this has been a really magnificent product line. We have On Guard throat lozenges, we have On Guard toothpaste, we have On Guard foaming hand soap, we have On Guard laundry detergent, we have On Guard beadlets, we have On Guard tablets, we have On Guard lots of products. Pick and choose with your On Guard products to help keep you well. And this is one of my favorite ones. The On Guard tablets have your vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and the beta glucan, which is really great for your gut microbiome. And so this is a brand new product of September, and I'm really loving that new product. So On Guard is our go-to for immune support. And like I mentioned, Copaiba is very helpful for immune support in all your body systems. And with regards to the Cistus, it's a fantastic antiseptic and antibacterial, antiviral oil. The common myrtle is fantastic for wounds and protects against things like sepsis or tetanus. Take notes, okay? Take notes. Do not put any of this online because the FDA will come after you if you do that. Don't make claims.
So you said the common myrtle is good for sepsis?
It is good for sepsis.
Okay. That's something my dad's been dealing with.
Yeah, and tetanus. Now remember, just because you step on a rusty nail, that nail's not come in contact with cow manure, you may or may not be exposed to tetanus, right? And so just remember, when we get these difficult bacteria, common myrtle is going to be a really great support for that. And so if you have heard of anything that might be coming down the pike after COVID, what's coming next, there's all kinds of sources out there that are telling us what's coming next. You're going to want these oils, okay? Hyssop is fantastic for what we've experienced. It's a fantastic antiseptic, antiviral, antibacterial oil. And so you're going to want these for the hard to match. Now, because they come in the small bottles, you're going to use small bottle, think Potency, or doTERRA doesn't have enough for a big bottle. Okay, think Potency for the most part with small bottles. And so you just use a little bit, all right, and that will be really helpful for you. But I can't recommend enough to have these on hand. There's a lot of, if you'll do some research on cystis, there's a lot of research on the really hard, I'm going to call them biowarfare, things that we've had happen over the past decade or two. And cystis has been known to take care of those concerns. And so I recommend it, even though it's sold out for individual purchase, you can get that available in the Ancient Oils kit. And I'm just going to put that on your radar, okay, because that's going to be something you're going to want to have. All right, let's go on to digestive support, because where there's respiratory support, there's digestive issues, and doTERRA has a whole slug of products for digestive support. My go-to has always been the Digestive Blend, which is a blend of all kinds of oils, including your peppermint, your fennel, your anise. It's got coriander, it's got several oils in it for digestive support. And we have the Digestin soft gels. We have Digest tabs. I kept hoping that doTERRA would come out with a Digestin beadlet. I'm really hoping that's going to come out, but it's not come out yet. We have a Tamer blend. Now, the Tamer blend is one of our kids' collection blends. It has spearmint instead of peppermint. And so you can buy spearmint oil, you can buy peppermint oil, you can buy Digestin, you can buy fennel, you can buy ginger, you can buy coriander, but you can buy the blend, and it's really magnificent. And galbanum is really fantastic for digestive support. And another way I have used it is internally. So I have experimented with these oils over the last year. I promise I'm still alive today, as you can see. And I've just done a lot of research on these oils, and I've done a lot of experimentation personally and in my home. And we've had some really great results with galbanum and digestive concerns. Terrazyme is an everyday go-to for our family. It is a digestive enzyme support that helps break down the macronutrients that we eat, the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats, the fibers. It breaks those down so we can utilize them as micronutrients. And I promise you that when you give yourself the digestive enzyme support that your body needs, and we all need them after about age 25, our body can then utilize its energy to produce metabolic enzymes. And so, Rick, part of our issues with weight is that we're not able to produce both digestive enzymes and metabolic enzymes at the same time. It's one or the other. And we need metabolic enzymes for every cellular process. And so if we're not able to produce both of them at the same time, if we supplement with digestive enzymes, and the Terrazyme has like 11 different enzymes, 11 or something like that, enzymes in it to help break down all those macronutrients that we eat. If you find yourself with any food intolerances, Terrazyme is magnificent. If you find yourself with joint issues, connective tissue issues, when Terrazyme is taken on an empty stomach, it helps rebuild connective tissue. So any bone spurs or bunions or meniscus issues, cartilage issues, degenerative joint issues, Terrazyme is a really great help support. One of my high school friends got to a point in her life where she was unable to even lift her arms. She went into the doctor. They did some x-rays and MRIs, or I think it was x-rays at first. And the doctor found what he called the worst bone spurs on her shoulders that he had ever seen. He scheduled her for surgery 3 weeks later, and she freaked out. She did not want to have surgery. And the shoulders are a pretty tough joint. Shoulder replacement surgeries are really difficult because it's a 360 joint, and there's a pretty long haul with recovery after a shoulder replacement or shoulder surgery. It's not a fun surgery, but she came on to our Facebook pages and asked, okay, what do I do for these bone spurs? And gave her the recommendation of at least nine Terrazyme a day. And in a couple of days of taking 9 a day, she had a little more motion. In a couple more days, she had a little more motion. In a week, she was able to start lifting those arms. And in a week and a half, she had full range of motion. She was like, this is unbelievable. And she went back to her doctor and said, I want you to re-x-ray me. I have to see why I now have this kind of range of motion. And she showed him what she had. And so he re-x-rayed her and he said, I don't know what you've done, but I don't see the bone spurs. That was within 2 weeks of taking 9 Terrazyme a day. And so rebuilding connective tissue, if we have deposits, mineral deposits where they ought not to be, Terrazyme is a really great help. So I don't want to make...
That'd be Steve wants to know, is that with food or without food?
Okay, when you're rebuilding connective tissue, Steve, it's with food, or excuse me, without food. When you're breaking down fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, that's with food. Okay, so connective tissue, joint issues, that's on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning and last thing before you go to bed. Okay, but she was, my friend was taking it with meals as well. So she was taking 2 in the morning, 2 at night before bed, and 2 with each meal. Okay, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so that made a huge difference for her in getting rid of those bone spurs. Okay, so, all right. Now, when we're talking body systems, if you need all over support, doTERRA has a lifelong vitality pack that is your all over body support. That is a food-based supplement system that helps your body get the micronutrients it needs for every cellular process. And so that's a really important product line, and it is our #1 selling product line. And we're so sure that you will feel better on it that doTERRA offers you a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you take it as directed for 30 days and you do not feel better, doTERRA will refund your money for the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Okay, and so we're sure you're going to get results, and it works and supports every body system. I have been using this since inception, since day one. My husband's been using it faithfully for probably at least, it might be 5 years, but at least 3 to 5 years. He's been using it consistently. And he was one of these that said, no, if I eat a good diet, I don't need to supplement. Supplements are crap. And then when he started using doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, he's noticed a huge difference. When he comes home from work, a long 12-hour shift at work, and he comes home and falls asleep promptly on the couch, I know that he did not take his Lifeline Vitality Pack midday because I send him to work with sachets that are pre-filled with half doses. And he takes one with breakfast, and then he's supposed to take the other one midday. And when he comes home and he can't even function, I know that he's not taken his Lifeline Vitality Pack. And now he's noticed a huge difference in how he feels. And now he recommends it to everybody. But now he notices, yeah, I didn't take my Lifeline Vitality Pack at noontime. So I take mine typically with breakfast or dinner. Some people have more energy if they take it with dinner and they can't go to sleep. I find that I'm so tired at midnight, I drop dead. Okay. So most of the time, unless I'm in one of those insomniac periods. And so the Lifeline Vitality Pack has been a great help. And I told my boys again this morning, boys, make sure you're doing prevention. Make sure you're taking your Lifeline Vitality Pack every day, along with your On Guard soft gels and your Terrazyme. So we're really working on these boys to make sure they're consistent. And the sachets are just really helpful for my boys to just reach and grab and haul one in their backpack on their way to school. So love the Lifeline Vitality Pack. So, and these super oils are really, really helpful, as we've talked about, for all body systems. Okay. And so, all right, what questions do you have? I've been talking mile a minute. What questions do you have? Is there anything you need to share in the chat there, Sandra?
Nothing right now. We got to Steve with this question about the food.
Okay.
I
We're gonna come back to Rick. In the next slide, we're going to come back to Rick. Go ahead, Sandra.
Okay. Steve says he's all good.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about mind and mood and emotions, and talk about what we've been experiencing. And when Steve said depression and anxiety, oh my gosh, it's never been more prevalent than in these last 2 years when we've been shut up and masked and not able to be social. It's been a really difficult thing. And so if you just find yourself, take a look at this wheel and find yourself, what kind of emotions have you experienced today? Just find yourself on that wheel. doTERRA has some emotional aromatherapy oils that are really magnificent, but one of our products that came out in the fall of 2019, before we ever went into COVID, was our adaptive line. And I talked about the adaptive as part of my sleep bomb routine, but the adaptive line, and there's an oil, and there's a roller bottle, and there's the capsules. The adaptive line was specifically slated for anxious feelings and depression. And like I said, I had never experienced panic attacks before these past couple of years. And I haven't suffered from panic attacks on a regular basis, but boy, have I felt anxiety. And the few times, about 3 times that I felt like I was in a full-fledged panic attack, this adaptive has been magnificent for that. And so this is part of my daily routine. I took one about noon today, but I love to take one as often as 3 times a day. I typically take one in the morning, but when I'm feeling particularly stressed and overly anxious, I take up to 3 of these adaptive capsules a day, and then breathing in the oil. Now, this was a really interesting thing to me. When I brought home adaptive oil from convention in 2019, I was diffusing it day in and day out to see if my boys and my husband loved it. My husband smelled it at convention. He really liked it. And my boys really liked it. And this has been, along with balance, there's very few oils that all of my children and husband and me like together. And the adaptive is one of them, and the balance is another one. And so these are some of our go-tos for mind and mood. The adaptive is slated for anxiety or depression, and I recommend it to you wholeheartedly. I had a call from a neighbor this morning. She's probably about 80, 82 years old. She said, Debbie, I want to get off my Prozac. I've been weaning myself off. I want to get some more adaptive capsules. I think it's really helping me. And I said, okay, Joyce, I'll be over to help you with that. And so now my car broke down today, so I didn't make it over to Joyce's, so I'll see her tomorrow, and I texted her. So, but at any rate, the adaptive is really helpful for those types of things, and I recommend it to you. It's also helpful if you struggle with focus issues. My experience with the adaptive capsules is that it gives me a sense of calm, alertness. I am so much more productive. I can think clearly. I don't have those anxious thoughts. I'm calm. I'm at ease. I can just think clearly and move through life, and things that would normally cause me to be a little bit uptight don't seem to phase me so much. And the adaptive capsules, one of the things that's in here, there's ahi flower, which is a really potent omega oil. There's also GABA in here. If you've heard of people taking gabapentin or something like that, there's GABA in here that helps regulate the neurochemistry in our brain. And really great stuff in this adaptive capsules, and lots of scientific studies on that. I think you'll be really pleased with that product. Balance is a go-to. Oh my gosh. And right now, doTERRA has a special this week only through Friday, where you can get, this is a 15 ml bottle, but you can get 3 5 ml bottles for $22 of the Balance blend. And I stocked up because that is one that I want everybody experiencing. For all of those who are new enrollments, I give them a Balance sample. And so I stocked up on those Balance 5 ml bottles. I'm just going to give my new enrollments a new a 5 ml bottle to help them understand the effectiveness of Balance. Balance is our grounding blend. When life feels like it's spinning out of control, just every day, right? Balance is my go-to. It's our Be Nice oil in our home and has been for many years. I would never leave home without Balance in my pocket. And I use it for my new puppy when she's really uptight or really hyper. I just put a drop of Balance on my hand, rub it in on my hands. I smell it. I extend my hand to her. She sniffs it, and then I just rub her all over and just massage it all over her fur. Okay. And so Balance is really good for dogs and really calming, as is Serenity. Serenity is really safe for dogs. Frankincense is really good for dogs. A lot of our oils are really good for your pets.
Debbie, if I get, well, we're talking about dogs. I can't tell you guys how many dogs I have taken care of with kennel cough using Breathe.
Mhm. Yeah, big deal. It's a big
Doing
deal.
animal rescue, we come across a lot of them that were coming out of shelters with a respiratory infection, and sure enough, both of my dogs I have right now, I've done that with.
Yeah.
So
And so, Sandra, do you have any tips for dogs? We know that dogs' sense of smell is very heightened compared to ours.
I don't put it anywhere they can lick. So, if I put it on their chest where they can't get to it, that's usually what I do, or maybe on the collar.
Yeah.
Just so they can breathe it in. I have never used it internally or any other way, but I that's what I would say. And they don't seem to be too bothered by it.
Yeah.
The only ones I would use caution with are cats. Cats are not, they're lacking the ability to be able to metabolize the essential oil, but
Yeah. And several of our oils are fine for cats. We have a Dr. Janet Rourke is one of our veterinaries, doctors on our veterinary panel with doTERRA. And she has classes available. She does charge for them, but they're very informative, very helpful. If you've got pets and you want to know how to use the essential oils for pets, she's one recommendation that I have. And then there's lots of resources out there. But
what's
one
her
thing
name?
done, Janet Rourke, ROARK. So it's ROARK, ROARK, Janet Rourke, Dr. Janet Rourke, and she's really good. In fact, what is her Facebook page? I'll have to find that and share it with you. I don't remember it offhand, but she's a great resource. Every time she has a free class, I'm on there. Because it's very valuable information. But one thing I've learned with my puppy is, and one thing I've learned from Janet, is that to allow your animals to self-select, which means you put it on your body, hold out your hand. If they run from you, they don't like that oil. Okay. If they want it, they'll warm up to you. They'll start licking your hand. And I'm perfectly fine if my dog licks my hand with Balance or Breathe. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I do love the self-select idea. That if they run from you, and make sure that you don't lock them in a room where they can't get out of. If you're diffusing, they need to be able to roam free. And if they need to get away from the diffuser, they can do so. And so they'll self-select, and it'll be really simple. But I do find that these oils, common myrtle especially, I found some really great benefits for common myrtle. It's fantastic for just reducing that anxious anxiety feeling. And in fact, improves self-confidence, helps overcome shyness. Common myrtle is really great for calming anxiety and tension. Hyssop is really great for undoing negativity, undoing negative thinking. I love that. Hyssop is just, I love just breathing in hyssop. It is magnificent. And galbanum is just brings a calming, positive outlook. And so they're really, in fact, you know what? I wanted to read a little bit about these. Let me see where we're at here. Oh, let's talk about anger first. Okay. This is funny. Okay. Can't tell you how many people. I just had a gal from Finland tell this story just the other day. She was really angry at her husband one day, and she reached for the lavender and she put that on. And within seconds, she said, I could not be angry with my husband. And she said, and I wanted to be angry with my husband and I couldn't be angry with my husband. I have used these oils on toddler tantrums, and it is the funniest thing ever to apply these oils to a toddler throwing a tantrum or a really fussy child and have them stop dead in their tracks, look at you with this look of almost horror. What did you just do to me? I wanted to be angry and I can't be angry. It's the funniest thing ever. And so I find that the oils are really helpful for curbing those less than positive emotions. And when you want to be angry, don't reach for the oils. Just be angry. But if you want to move through that quickly, reach for the oils. And it is really, really a snap. It is really amazing. And so galbanum and common myrtle are really helpful for that. So as we talk about this, one of my favorite books is Essential Emotions, which is a great resource book for the emotional benefits of the oils. But Jade Baldwin, who is one of my team leaders, she has written a book that is really a really great go-to, and hers has more of a spiritual insight to it. Hers is called Gifts of the Earth with Faith, using Gifts of the Earth with Faith. And she has some really interesting stuff that this book doesn't have. It does not have these ancient oils in it. And so I'm looking at Jade's resource for her research on these ancient oils. And let me just read some of this to you. Galbanum is the oil, emotionally, is the oil of enhanced life. And so if we want to have more positivity in our life, more positive emotions, if we want to overcome all the negativity that we're surrounded by, reach for galbanum, diffuse it, put a drop in your hand, rub your hands together, cup your hands around mouth and nose, breathe that in. You're going to be really amazed by how it does help you overcome that. Just breathe it in for a full minute, at least 6 or 8 deep breaths, and it will really help change your emotional affect, and you'll feel like you can move through life again. Okay. And so it has extraordinary curative powers. And so this is a really great one. In fact, in the Bible, if you're a Bible reader at all, you can find these oils in the Bible. And in Exodus, it talks about Moses being on Mount Sinai, and he's given a blend, an apothecary blend, mix these oils together. And that was frankincense, myrrh, and galbanum to help them be more of a spiritual people. And so I find that really fascinating on galbanum, that is the oil of enhanced life. Hyssop is the oil of the cleansed soul. Now, I want you to just really hear me out here for a moment. We have all kinds of predictions that smallpox is coming. And hyssop is the oil of the cleansed soul. And galbanum and hyssop and cissus are really helpful for these kinds of things. I recommend that you get them in your homes, okay? Hyssop invites us to apply the atoning power of Jesus Christ to cleanse our souls completely. And when you look at hyssop in the Bible, the children of Israel were actually dipping hyssop branches in the lamb's blood on Passover and putting it across their doors so the destroying angel would pass by them. What was the destroying angel? I want you to be aware of that, okay? All right, now, if we go to cistus, okay, and common myrtle. Common myrtle is the oil of everlasting love. It helps us be true to ourselves and our gifts and talents. And so if you're finding that you're really not finding joy in life, that you're really not able to function in your zone of genius, so to speak, pull out that common myrtle and breathe that in and smell that, okay? That helps us step back into our strengths and our gifts and function there where we're most authentic.
Debbie, we've got a question. Is there any allergic reactions to hyssop?
You know, I've not seen them. I've not seen them yet. I find it very soothing respiratorily. And so I don't know if anybody else has had a hyssop allergy response. If you do some research online now, be aware that you can find whatever you think you can possible on hyssop, but look for some really good resources on hyssop. I've not seen it in the literature that I've researched over the last year. I've not seen any allergy responses to hyssop. That doesn't mean that can't happen, but I have not seen it.
I mean, I've been using hyssop on the skin,
Yeah.
undiluted, which I mean, I would definitely recommend maybe trying it diluted,
Yeah.
but I found it to be very gentle.
Yeah, I have found it to be very gentle. And now I'm using it on skin lesions and boils. But primarily I love hyssop for respiratory support. And so my roller bottle for respiratory was before COVID, breathe, lime, and cardamom. I mentioned that. And now my respiratory roller has those three in it, along with a marjoram. Hang on a second. It's got hyssop and cistus, and then I have marjoram, and I'm missing one. Marjoram and, oh my goodness, I use rosemary for all the time for respiratory. And so that's now what I have in my roller bottle. And I just start my day with that and end my day with that, just for prevention. And so primarily if you're making a roller bottle, I put 10 drops of the big bottle oils and 5 drops of the little bottle oils on an average, 5 to 10. And so that's typically what I do in my roller bottle. And then I add it, fill it up with fractionated coconut oil.
And which ones were those?
So I use the breathe
Okay.
and the lime, 20 drops of each of those. And then I use 10 drops of cardamom. I use 20 drops of marjoram. Marjoram is really great for coughs. It's the #1 oil for children with croupy cough. And marjoram is just really great for calming spasms. And we talked about the cistus and the hyssop that way too tonight. And so then the rosemary, I found I have rosemary in my shower. It's really great for clarity of thought, clear thinking. But I'd love to drop a few drops of rosemary on my shower to give me a nice little aromatic benefit when I'm showering. And it just clears my thoughts. It opens my brain, but it also opens my lungs. And then I'll just rub a little bit of that on my chest as I'm wiping down the shower and before I towel dry. And so I love rosemary in my respiratory blend as well. And then the hyssop and cistus are given for what's been going around. And just, we're seeing all kind of variants. And so just for prevention, that's what, and I've made it for my children. So they have their roller bottles. And so then I have breathe, lime, 20 drops of those, 20 drops of the marjoram, 20 drops of the rosemary, 10 drops of the cardamom. And then I have 10 drops of the cistus, and I have 5 drops of the hyssop in there. Okay. The hyssop is in a 2.5 milliliter. The smaller the bottle, the fewer the drops is what I personally go by. Okay. With these ancient oils. And so that's my roller bottle. And then I top it off with fractionated coconut oil to the shoulder of the roller bottle. And so the shoulder is just below the round part on the roller. Okay. And I do that just below because if I start using it, I'm like, this isn't helping me, then I still have room to add more oils. Okay. So that's why I do just below the shoulder. Okay. And then I just rub that on my chest every morning after the shower, every night before I go to bed. I have my children do the same, and that's our prevention. Okay. And so I just said, we don't have time to be sick. And so, all right. So cistus now is the oil of royal responsibilities. And just a little lesson that I've learned in my life is when I put God first, everything else falls into place. If I put God first, I don't have to hang out in fear mode. I can hang out in peace mode, and I need that personally. And so I really love that. Cistus is the oil of royal responsibilities, and I would call it royal priorities. Okay. And so it helps me to put first things first. And there's all kinds. Now in the Bible, it's not mentioned as cistus. Other names for cistus are rose of Sharon, and that's how we find it in the Bible, rose of Sharon. In fact, one of the scripture verses in Song of Solomon is Christ says, I am the rose of Sharon, or Jehovah says, I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. Those are 2 other names for cistus, lily of the valley, rose of Sharon. And then we also see it as rock rose because it grows in rocky places that aren't very friendly for plants to grow in. Cistus grows in there. So it's really hardy. It's really good for the hard stuff that we are exposed to. And so I really do trust that we have everything we need to take care of this, that God has given us everything we need to take care of this. And so this is one of my super oils. The only thing that I would add to this oil, this list of therapeutic benefits is the antiviral component of cistus. Now, let me just say right here, please do not put this online. it will get us all in trouble. But cistus has been used for Ebola. It's been used for Ebola. Ebola. It's been used for HIV. It's been used for coronavirus. It's actually already documented for coronaviruses in the literature. When you do some research on cistus, it's pretty remarkable. And but this, what did I just say? The HIV is interesting to me because when you take a look at what does HIV stand for, and we're seeing with this COVID vaccine, we're seeing a reverse HIV circumstance. Please get cistus in your homes. All right. This is a really important thing, and I recommend it to you wholeheartedly. And so it's going to be a really helpful thing going down the pike. Okay. So super oils, get them while they're available. Okay. And so here, galbanum, my go-to for galbanum, besides the benefits of the nervous system, is the digestive support. I love the hyssop and the cistus for the respiratory, but galbanum is really good for respiratory too. I really love it for digestive support, okay? And to stop the spasm. So in that way, it's really helpful for stopping the spasm if we're having respiratory or coughing spasms. Galbanum is very calming for that. Really love that, and magnificent for the skin. Okay, so common myrtle, magnificent for the skin, really great for oral health. It's used in perfumes. We can use this as different body deodorants. Also helpful for the nervous system. A great aphrodisiac as well. So common myrtle is really fantastic. And so this is what I think of for what we've been experiencing. Hyssop has been my go-to, and this little tiny bottle with a family of 7 doesn't go very far. And so that's why I just ordered another ancient oils kit just the other day, 2 days ago. So very good for wound care. So I hope this has been helpful. Okay, so this is how you can get all of these oils right now. Now, if you were to buy one of each of those 4 oils, the cost that I spent for one of the cistus, one of the hyssop, one of the galbanum, one of the common myrtle was $177 wholesale cost. And the kit's $185, and you get myrrh and frankincense with it. And when I realized, the better way to do it would be the ancient oils kit rather than individual oils. And so that's the better way to get it. Okay. Now, for those of you who already have a wholesale membership with doTERRA, there's your cost right there, the $185 for this kit. And for those of you who don't have a wholesale membership, if we add a $35 membership to that $185, that would be your cost for the ancient oils kit. Or we could tag on another prepackaged kit that saves you tremendous money with doTERRA, saves you well below wholesale cost. So let me introduce you to, there's typically 3 ways to buy. You can buy retail, which I don't recommend. You can buy wholesale, which I recommend, and then you can buy below wholesale. And that's for those of us who have made this a wellness lifestyle, and we order each month, and then we have a subscription with a frequent flyer mile program essentially, and then we buy below wholesale. And that's the smartest way to buy doTERRA, is to get a wholesale account and then make this your wellness plan and start buying monthly, and you'll buy below wholesale. You'll get some free product credits. You'll get some free shipping credits. You'll earn and accrue back a percentage of whatever you buy each month. And that's buying well below wholesale. And you can save up to 55% and more on our BOGO sales for sure. So the Home Essentials Kit is one of my favorite kit. Actually, excuse me, this should say Healthy Essentials. No, it is Home Essentials now. They changed the name back. It was Healthy Essentials, and that's Home Essentials. So this is a really great kit for mind and mood and some of the physical concerns. So you see in here, we talked about the adaptive blend. We talked about the balance. Lavender is a good one. So there's and the Copaiba, really great for mind and mood. You've got your peppermint, your Copaiba, your deep blue for pain. You've got your breathe and your Copaiba. And you've got digestin, which is our our digestive blend that's also helpful for respiratory. Your lemon oil is great for breaking down mucus. You've got your On Guard for your immune support. This is one of my very favorite kits and comes with that free diffuser. The cost of this is $249. It includes your wholesale membership, and you save over $100 with this kit. Off of wholesale costs. This is a really nice collection. doTERRA did some research to see what people bought on Amazon for the common remedies and what they were trying to solve health-wise with common over-the-counter remedies. And then they put those same remedies in this Cura kit, which is kind of ready for everything. So you've got immune support, you've got respiratory support, you've got digestive support, you've got pain support, you've got some go-tos like your Correct X, you've got your pain support. So this is a really great thing for all those common things that people buy over-the-counter products for. your sleep support. This is a really great little combination of products. And then this is one that if you're just a little bit unsure about the oils, that might be a little overwhelming to you or something. I love the oils and I love having a good resource book. But this is your Healthy Habits Kit that has those basic bare necessities that you need to have healthy cellular processes, and introduces you to the five of our basic oils, including your frankincense, including your balance, your lavender, the On Guard Immune Blend, and tangerine. So instead of lemon, they replaced the lemon with tangerine in this kit, because the tangerine is higher. It's 98% limonene instead of 90% in the lemon. And so it's even more potent for helping with the immune system and ridding the body of toxins. And so tangerine is in this kit. And so that's a really great, I love this kit for getting on a healthy daily regimen. Now, for those wholesale customers, we have the Daily Habits Kit, which is this very same kit, only a little bit less because you're already a wholesale member. Okay. And for the person who says, okay, you convinced me, Debbie, I just need to change out my medicine cabinet, the Natural Solutions Kit is your kit. And it has those supplements, and it has some of our go-to products for everyday use and for all of those body systems that we talked about tonight. Okay. And so this is one of our best-selling kits. Comes with a beautiful glass diffuser. These others are great diffusers. This is a great diffuser. It's not a beautiful glass diffuser, but it's a really great effective diffuser. And this one here is a beautiful glass diffuser. So anyway, these are some everyday products, including your On Guard mouthwash, your On Guard foaming hand soap, your On Guard toothpaste. And so you get some of those On Guard products in this kit, along with your Deep Blue Rub and your fractionated coconut oil. And so this has this is going to replace your medicine cabinet for what else use. So there's kind of an overall, I find that there's typically 3 people. Here's the add-on prices, minus the cystis that is sold out. But the add-on prices for those oils, if you want to buy them separately and individually, there's the wholesale cost, the VIP cost is the wholesale cost, and the regular cost is your retail cost. I don't recommend retail, I'll be honest with you. Let's help you get a wholesale membership if you don't already have one, and that will save you 25% off of the retail cost. But I find that there's typically 3 types of people that come to these types of classes. There are those people that just want to live a Natural Solutions lifestyle. There are those that already they're thinking of other people they can help. Carrie, I know you were one of those. You were already thinking about those teachers that you were serving. Oh, they needed to have this, that, and the other. And there's those that are automatically sharers, that they just got to help others. And then that's the second person. And the third person is that says, Debbie, I want to help you on your mission to get these oils in every home. And so pick your number. Tell me if you're a 1, just wants to live a healthy lifestyle. If you're a 2, and you're already thinking of people that you can help, or you're a 3, you're saying, Debbie, I want to get on board in your mission to get these into every home and create a healer in every home. And then we want your help. We really do. If you know of people that we can help, please connect us with them. All right. We really do want to change up what we're doing in healthcare. And I'll just be honest with you. There's never been a more important time than now to make sure you are taking charge of your wellness. And Natural Solutions are the way to go. People are searching for it. They want safe, effective, and affordable solutions. And doTERRA has that for you. And I love that I can expect a therapeutic result every time I use them. That's been such a peace of mind for my mama heart that has replaced my fear with peace of mind. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for being here tonight. I thank all of you for being here tonight. If we can help you, stick around. Stay on. And for those of you who need to go, I know we've been talking for almost a couple of hours, and we told you that it would be from 7 to 9. And so I've tried to stay within that time frame. But you can see my passion. You can understand why I really want people to be informed. I want people to be confident in managing their healthcare naturally. I do not want you having to go to the hospital right now, right? The hospital protocol for COVID is meant to kill you. I'm convinced of it. And so I say, stay away from the hospital, get your Natural Solutions, and take charge of your wellness naturally. So that's what I hope to help you do. Okay. And so come back next week. I'll have a different Zoom link. Sandra can share that where you shared this class, Sandra. I'll have a different Zoom link for next week's class on frankincense. But 7:00 p.m. next Tuesday night, December 14th, we'll talk on frankincense solely for an hour. And you'll find out why it is the king of the oils, and why, when in doubt, reach for frankincense. Okay. So Yeah. All right. Rick, I just want you to pipe in here if you're still with us. Pipe in here. Did I answer your questions? I thank you wholeheartedly for being vulnerable and being a little bit specific in what it is that you wanted solutions for. And so, did I help you with that? Did I give you some ideas of what you might use? Okay. All right. I loved Lisa's comment. So sorry to have to leave early, but I have an appointment to get to. Oils have helped our family and brought lots of peace of mind in the midnight hours. Amen. Amen. One of my favorite phrases as a mother is, and we all go back to sleep. That's been one of my favorite phrases using doTERRA. Yeah. Favorite top picks: Aroma Touch, Breathe Sticks, Citrus Bliss, soap bars. Yes, if you buy personal care items, hair care, skin care, shower care, bath bars, shower gel, whatever you buy, toothpaste, laundry detergent, dishwashing soap, cleaning supplies, doTERRA's got it for you. And it's toxin free and using natural solutions, using essential oils. So you're getting some really great products. Oh, thank you, Rick. I'm so glad that I was able to give you some ideas. Okay. Yeah. And so reach out to Sandra. If we can help you get these oils in your homes, let us know. If you've already got them, fantastic. I'm going to recommend that you add to them. Okay. Add to your arsenal is what I'm going to call it, so that you are prepared for whatever comes down the pike. Okay. And know that we're here to link hands with you, to support you in your wellness journey and help you get out of doTERRA, whatever it is that you want. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you joining us. All right, Sandra, would you just go ahead and close us off tonight?
Sure. Should I start my video?
Yeah, let me start your video here. Go ahead and start your video if you can do that.
Okay. Nope.
Oh,
I can't.
turn it on here. Start video. Ask to start video. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope I learned a lot. I've got like 5 pages of notes here. So if you can see that, I've got tons and tons of notes. I hope you guys were able to get something out of this. I know like Debbie is amazing, and I don't know what I would do without her after all these years.
One thing I want to say is, if you are not receiving my newsletter, get your email in the chat right now, and I will make sure to forward you my newsletter. Okay. If you get a newsletter from Debbie Gordon, 1026@gmail.com, that comes up in your spam, take me out of spam, please. Okay. I'm not trying to spam you. I'm trying to educate you. And so I really hope, thank you, Carrie. All right. So let me get that down and make sure that you get my newsletter.
Yeah. I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate you taking the time. And I knew this was, for me with the holidays, I really wanted to make sure that anybody who wanted to be here could be here and can hear all of this amazing stuff that you've been teaching me all these years. And even having been working with you all these years, I learned so much tonight. I am like mind blown. So I'm really excited. And you guys, I can tell you, if there's one thing you do right now, she's right. The Ancient Oil Kit is amazing.
It's going to sell out. Get it while you can. If at all possible, get it while you can.
And I in addition to that, and I know we lost a couple of the moms that were on here. A couple of them were in Florida. They're like, we got to go to bed. But, one thing that I haven't shared with a lot of people, but I don't mind sharing with you guys, is also, using the oils topically with my family members. I've always had a really hard time with touch. I'm not, if you know me, I'm not like a touchy person. I'll hug you if you hug me, but I'm not somebody who's overly anxious to be touching other people, even prior to COVID. So it's always been a thing. But I started using myrrh on my children's feet because at one point, I think somebody had told me, and I think it was you, Debbie, that it was the mothering oil. And I really found that on an emotional level, I was able to better connect with my kids. And I had a much better experience putting this on their little feet when they were young, and it was calming to them. And it was just a nice way for us to connect. And so, beyond the therapeutic values of the oils, I found it to be just a really nice way to connect with other people and especially with my kids. I mean, I, I'm forever grateful for that. So,
Yeah.
that's just one thing I like to share because I love myrrh so much for that reason.
It's such a great oil. And you know what? I didn't mention, Sandra, that for anybody who buys a 200 PV order of any order this month, you're going to get a free 5 ml bottle of frankincense, a free 5 ml bottle of myrrh, and a free 5 ml bottle of Holiday Love, which is a blend just for this holiday season for you. It's not something you can buy, but you're going to get those 3 free bottles with a 200 PV order this month. And so if you buy that Ancient Oils kit, that's 150 PV. Let's add 2 or 3 or 4 more oils to get you over the 200 PV amount so that you can get those freebies. And that's all month long. However, we do have some really great specials tonight or this week that I didn't talk about either, Sandra. So for those that Sandra, that we can help, reach out and show them the specials this month. We've got some really great. In fact, I can send you, they're going to be in my newsletter. I'll send in my newsletter. Those of you who give me your email. Okay, I'll send it in my newsletter. So then you can see the specials that are available this week through Friday while supplies last. We've already had our Sweet Dream Serenity bundle sell out. Yes, it sold out. I was really bummed about that.
Oh no.
And Sisters is sold out, but there's still lots of other little really nice gift giving. If you have anybody on your gift list that you're wondering, what can I get them? These are really nice, affordable gift giving items.
I mean, I love giving oils because I know that it's something that everybody can benefit from. And I've never had anybody be unhappy when I've gifted them oils. And if you are in my gift circle, that's probably what you're going to get. It's oils because I love them so much.
My boys are getting, we bought all new suits and they're getting oil gifts. My oldest wears a beard and he's getting beard oil in his stocking. All of them are getting the Midnight Forest aftershave and shower gel in their stocking. My 14-year-old is getting the On Guard oral bundle that comes with a tongue scraper, On Guard beadlets, On Guard mouthwash, and On Guard dental floss. I took him in to have his braces off the other day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't looked at your tongue, son, and you have a terrible coating on your tongue, which means his gut health is really bad." And so I was like, "Okay, bud, we got to work on this cleansing during Christmas break because you need some help here." And so he's getting a tongue scraper in his stocking. So they're all getting doTERRA stuff. And all my family gifts are all doTERRA stuff. I know that I can help them by giving them products that will help them have good health and teaching them how to use it. So it's my go-to. So.
Well, thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate you doing this for me. And
thank you, Sandra.
And like I said, I've got my power base, my friends here, and I just want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe and happy and healthy this holiday season and for even more time to come. Like I said, this has been having these oils in my arsenal has changed my life. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm so glad that we're able to share that. And I appreciate you very much.
Yeah. So I'll have this recording available, Sandra, if you wanted to send it back out to those that you invited.
Okay. That'd be great.
But please do not post it online.
Okay.
That is really my plea to you is do not post this online. I can say anything I want in person, but online, the FDA is scrolling online, and so is doTERRA's compliance department to make sure we're FDA compliant online. Okay. And so, but I have talking with one of the owners of doTERRA, and she says, "Debbie, you are one of the best educators out there." And so I've been grateful that I was like, "Oh my gosh, if she's watching my videos, she knows I'm not compliant." I said that to her. She said, "I watch your videos." I said, "You do?" I said, "They're not compliant. I probably break compliance in every video." And she said, "They're very informative. They're very educational. They're right on target." And so she said, and then she got on a big doTERRA class, and she saw that I was on there, and she said, "Debbie Gordon is one of the best educators out there." So I thank you for joining us.
I agree. I am so grateful for you. I feel honored to have you in my circle and that you would do this for us. So thank you.
So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. Hope it's been worth your time and energy. Have a good night. Sleep well.
Bye, guys.